So guys, we're back again with this type of conversation. As you can see by the title of the video, we're having another chat about gender-based violence. I don't even think it's been 3 months since my last video about this. If we're being completely honest, I don't even think it's been 3 months. That is horrendous, the fact that I'm doing another video on this. But my last video was like gender-based violence and Black Lives Matter. And it was just a bit of a rant and a bit of a like plea to you guys. But as much as this is not about views, it didn't get many views. Its engagement wasn't that high because, I don't know, I guess people didn't want to really talk about the truth. And I guess people weren't really into the whole emotional thing. So I thought today, let's actually unpack the effects of gender-based violence. Let's talk about what it does to females. Let's just talk about it. I'm speaking a lot about females because it's my experience. I'm not saying it doesn't happen to other genders. It most definitely does. Other genders most definitely get preyed on, but females get preyed on the most, and this is my experience, and this is what I'm speaking about because it is the current other epidemic that has taken over the world. The first thing I want to go into is sexual harassment. Men don't like to be held accountable for the fact that they sexually harass women. Sexual harassment is literally any form of pestering, bothering, stalking, harassing that is driven by a sexual motive, to put it very simply. So catcalling, following women around malls, fucking, what's it called when a man fucking acts like his eyes are glued to you, when a woman is in a room and you stare at her boobs or you stare at her ass, or you make her feel uncomfortable because she's wearing shorts, making comments, locker room talk. It's a form of sexual harassment if someone has to experience it. All those small things, that's sexual harassment. Then we have sexual assault, which is basically the physical bothering of someone, or harassment of someone, or invasion of space of someone motivated by sexual thoughts, actions, whatever it is, stimulus. So groping a woman's bum or boobs, slapping a woman's bum as she walks past you, doing any sexual thing without consent. So example, sticking your hand down someone's pants, sticking your hand up someone's shirt, kissing someone forcefully, even if it's kissing their neck, grabbing their hand and kissing it. It is sexual assault. Sexual assault does not only move towards rape. Going in terms of rape, okay, so sexual assault also is any sexual action you do without consensus, without consent. If she doesn't say the words yes, or men seem to be like, she implied that she wanted it. We don't care about implications. She can't imply yes. She must give you a verbal sign that she wants to go ahead with the actions, right? A verbal affirmation. You need to hear her invite you into your space, right? So then we go into the whole thing of rape. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. This video is full of trigger warnings. Rape is not just the penetration of a penis into a vagina without consent. Rape is any form of penetration into any orifice without consent. So, any inserting of anything, it could literally be anything from your pinky finger to your penis, to your tongue, to a physical object such as a broom or a mop, into any orifice on the body, being mouth, vagina, or someone's anus, without consent, so without someone giving you a verbal, conscious affirmation, that counts as rape. Fingering a girl while she's drunk in a bathroom, counts as rape. Even if she went to the bathroom with you, even if she didn't say no, it's rape because she's not conscious enough to tell you she wants it. If you know she's not going to remember it the next morning, you are raping her. If you know she's going to give you consent, you can wait until she's sober to ask. It's as simple as that. So fingering a girl, kissing a girl, eating a girl out. Let's not only stop at girls. Fingering a guy's anus, giving a guy a blowjob, kissing a guy, putting something up a guy's anus without consent. Those are all instances of rape. You have sexually assaulted someone. You have taken away their right to refuse what you are doing. Any form of intoxication or inebriation in the equation will make it rape. The ages that are shaky there, if your age gap is more than 2 years and the person's under the age of 16, it is statutory rape because you are mature enough to manipulate them into having sex or sexual contact or a sexual experience with you. Also, rape is not just confined to heteronormative genders, female and male. Let's stop saying, oh no, because they're non-binary, they're queer, they're trans, they're gender fluid, that it wasn't rape. They have as many rights as we do. We're going to go into the current femicide because there's a lot going on Twitter right now about men saying that women must humble themselves or we're going to end up in graves. About saying women are dropping like flies, we must lower our voices. About saying our lives are worthless, that's why men kill us. Stop it. So the first thing is, what do you do when you are associated with someone who is a sexual predator or a predator of any form, right? The first thing is to stop associating yourself with them. Number one, because you're disempowering them. So I'm not saying cancel a person and all that stuff because there are different conversations on whether cancel culture works or not, whether it should be a thing, whether it shouldn't be a thing, if it makes the problem worse, if it helps the cause, whatever. I'm not going to go into all of that. But stop publicly associating yourself with that person to the point where it looks like you're in support of what they're doing. So if you're still going and supporting that person's sports games, or y'all are going to lunch, or y'all are going on movie dates, or any of that stuff, you are basically letting them know that, listen, what you're doing might be bad, but it's not bad enough for me to distance myself from you. You need to get it out there to other people, especially the type of people that they seem to prey on, that this person is a dangerous human being and they are going to prey on you, or they could prey on you. It's not to freak people out, but personally, I had to go to school with the person who sexually harassed me and sexually assaulted me for 5 years. It was not a pleasant experience, and the reason I didn't speak out is because he was never held accountable for anything that he did within his 5 years at that school. And I knew I wouldn't have been believed by anyone other than my friends, even if I had come with evidence, because the school that I went to did not take evidence seriously. Anytime I'd gone there with evidence, they'd dismissed my evidence or changed policies or whatever so that they didn't have to deal with the situation. So in my situation, it would have been so helpful for people who knew what he was doing to distance themselves from him, and to also warn other girls that, listen, this guy does A, B, and C. Disempowering someone is very important in that type of situation, so that when a victim does speak up, people will take her seriously and she'll be seeming like she's speaking sense, because for some reason we have this mentality where a victim speaks up and we want this whole long thing of proofs, but a predator says, oh no, she's lying, and like that you believe the predator. When you feel like you're alone, like you're not heard, like no one's gonna believe you, you're obviously not gonna say anything because it's survival of the fittest and you don't want to ruin your reputation. So you're kind of going to keep quiet because you don't know what you're going to be up against. Next thing, that person is really powerful and they can basically silence you. So it's important to let victims know that you stand with them, and do so publicly, because when you as a person who hasn't been victimized stands up publicly and says, listen, I stand with victims, that person is dangerous, then you disempower them because you show you're not afraid of them. And therefore their threats and whatever methods they might want to use won't work. So that's really important. This is not about ruining someone's life. It's not about ruining their image. It's just about disempowering them and supporting victims. That's it. It doesn't have to be some personal vendetta. It doesn't have to be a whole brouhaha big deal. It should be the norm. I feel like we're all asking why gents don't speak up, and I think we all know the answer, but no one wants to say it. It's simply just the fact that they don't want to ruin their reputations. Boys are boys. You know that thing of, oh, a boy will fight with another boy, they'll hit each other 2-3 times and then they're grand again. That's how boys work. They like their community. Whereas a hun will be like, yay, you're so fucking secure, I'm cutting you off, I'm done. And there will be a grudge between you and that hun until who knows when. Boys don't want to lose the boys. They don't want to be unpopular. They don't want to be the one who stands out, because boys ostracize each other so much and they make each other feel weird, and I don't know, these toxic standards that they have within themselves. So that's typically why men don't speak up. I would also like to believe, I think it's the truth, is a large percentage of men just don't care. Like, if it's not someone close to them, they just don't care because they're so damn desensitized. So if you go to a guy and you're like, what if it was your mom, or what if it was your sister, they'll be like, no, kill the person who did it, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that. Say, what if it was your girlfriend? Sometimes they're like, oh no, I'd kill them, or whatever. Half the time they're gonna be like, I don't want to be with her anymore if she's been raped. What if it was your friend? They're kind of like, there's not really much I can do for you. The group of men that seems to be most silent about everything going on is black men. But when it was Black Lives Matter, if you were a black female and you weren't standing by them, which never happened because black females always stand by black men, you were dragged. You don't care about our people. You don't care about us. I think that is the true reality of why men speak out, and why they don't speak out. And we must stop trying to justify it as, oh no, they're ignorant, they're whatever. For what reason? Just because you have a penis, you get given the right to be ignorant. And because I have a vagina, my right to say no and my right to life must be taken away. Stop that thing. Stop that thing right now. Please, it's not for me. So I think that is the reality. Boys don't want to seem unpopular. They don't want to be possibly ostracized by the more masculine gents. And quite frankly, they just don't care enough if you're not extremely close to them. And that is why they don't speak out. That is why they don't post. The only time a boy is going to post on social media is when he's trying to get a hun, when he's talking about a soccer match or sports match, and when he's defending a famous sports player that is a sexual abuser. Those are the 3 times men speak out. Oh, and Black Lives Matter. Never forget it. Any other thing, femicide, gender-based violence, LGBTQIA plus rights, they mute. So that's that on that. There is a real fear of dating right now as a woman, and of being sexually liberated as a woman, and of being a woman in general. For me, my biggest fear right now is like the fear of dating, because a lot of females are being killed by their significant others in instances where they didn't want to sleep with that person, in instances where they didn't want to be with that person anymore, in instances where they didn't want to marry that person, in instances where they didn't want to become that person's girlfriend. Besides that, women are getting killed and raped in general for just exercising their right to say no. If they don't want to suck a taxi driver off, if they don't want to give a taxi driver or a man in general, their number, if they don't want to go on a date, if they don't want to go home with a guy, women are being killed. So there is a real fear right now, as a woman, to exercise your right to say no. Personally, I don't feel safe even giving guys the chance to go on a date, because next thing I get to the date and I'm not feeling it, and then I'm at risk of losing my life. I have had experiences where like a man will get my number from like Uber Eats, or from like Zolzi or Checkers Delivery or whatever, and then they keep my number and they call me. Now that person has my address and they have my cell phone number and they literally stalk me. It's literally so freaky, because it's like, I should be able to order food online like every other human being, but because you thought my legs look nice in my pajama shorts, you're now going to stalk me. It's really, really creepy. It's weird. I don't think there's a single heterosexual man that I know right now who will be hit on by a female, and if he rejects her, he knows there's a chance I could die. There's nothing more women can do. That's a big point that people need to realize. Like, obviously, as women, we're not going to stop fighting for our lives, but there is literally nothing more that we can do. We have marched, we have protested, we have contacted governments, we have striked, we have destroyed property, we have signed petitions, we have made videos, we have made posts, we have made podcasts, we have made shows, there have been movies made, and this thing goes on and on and on and on. I'm not gonna lie, I've been really, really disappointed in my male friends, because I thought the first time around we had this argument, things would have changed, and they haven't changed. So I'm super, super disappointed, and I'm even more disappointed by the fact that the people that are gonna watch this video are mostly gonna be females, because like I said, there's nothing more that females can really do. It's up to men now to decide to deal with the sick characters in their society. Things that make you a part of the damn problem. Things that you might not be doing to intentionally harass someone, but it's harassment anyway. And you should be aware of these things so that you stop making women feel uncomfortable, because the fact of the matter is, sexual harassment and sexual assault has like a lifelong effect on women. It's something you don't forget, and it's something you experience from so young, especially because female bodies are sexualized so much. You experience it from such a young age, that it has a lifelong effect on you. And you'll notice a lot with the older generation, they're very desensitized to it. They kind of laugh when like a guy catcalls you, or when you get harassed for your number, or that type of stuff, and then they only kind of wake up when a woman has died, and when a child has died, or when someone has been raped. So it's very important for us as a generation now to not be desensitized to this, but for you guys to understand the effects. But anyways, things that make you a part of the problem: always asking for nudes and demanding phone sex, like repeatedly. It's not cool. A rule that I have told all my male friends, any male that I know, is like, if you want nudes, the first rule is never to ask for them. If a female wants to send you nude pictures of herself, she will. Videoing girls without their permission, whether it be sex, whether it be in a mall, whether it be like in a club, that's the biggest thing. Like club culture, the dress code naturally forces women to dress more promiscuously, which there's nothing wrong with a woman dressing promiscuously for me if she wants to. But the dress code naturally forces you to dress more promiscuously so that you can get into the club in the first place. And then there's the whole thing of club culture where like men buy tables and then you go and men flirt with you by inviting you to the section, and like you'll be there twerking in the club, minding your own business, twerking on your friends, and then you get like old men or men in general looking at you or videoing you. It's so freaky that men do that at clubs, and that, you know, men don't know when to say no. Like when they're offering you a drink and you say, no, I'm fine, and they pester you and pester you and pester you to the point where as a female you feel like you're obligated to drink it. But at the same time, when you're drinking it, you're kind of freaked out because you're like, what if it spiked? It's really freaky how much you guys sexualize female bodies, and from such a young age, especially in the Black community. And it's just really not cool. But yeah, that's all for this video, guys. Please be conscious and aware of what's going on in the world. I hope this video educated you in one way or another, and if you find it educational, please just share it with other people so that they can be educated on it, because we're tired of wasting our voices and straining ourselves on saying the same things over and over and over again.